Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to source for inside stories, cutting-edge research, and the latest updates in the world of dairy farming. For the 77th episode, we look at whether Trump's tariff plan is genuinely about cocaine or is it a move to unlock Canada's dairy market. Join the debate to uncover the true motives behind these tariffs. So please grab a glass of milk, sit back, and let's get started with this week's episode.
Are President Trump's tariffs about stopping cocaine from Canada, or is there another agenda, like milk? Comparing the drug scene with the dairy industry is wild. These tactics could shake up the financial world and put dairy farmers in a tough spot. Understanding how these trades are linked is crucial to handling the shifting economic landscape.
The U.S.-Canada trade relationship has been a roller coaster ride, mired in deals, disputes, and tariffs. President Trump's use of tariffs, a hallmark of his economic plan, often feels like wielding a blunt instrument to force partners into better terms for the U.S. Tariffs between the two have historically shifted. In 2018, Trump slapped tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, citing security concerns. Canada responded with tariffs on U.S. goods, including milk. Tariffs are necessary for global trade. They shield domestic markets from foreign competition, help balance trade, and generate revenue. In politics, they are tools for enforcing rules and advancing strategic goals. Tariffs were key to Trump's drive for economic nationalism during his term. Their ripple effects, especially in dairy, are still felt in trade discussions between these neighboring titans.
For years, the U.S.-Canada economic ties have been a mix of teamwork and tension, especially in agriculture. This goes back to 1989, when the Canada-United States Free Commerce Agreement was first signed, kicking off a new phase in North American trade. While this agreement aimed to break trade barriers and boost economic growth, it also brought its fair share of challenges. Dairy has often been central to these disputes. Canada's strict supply management system, designed to stabilize dairy prices and protect local farmers, frequently clashes with the U.S.'s free market approach. This system caps production and limits imports, holding back the influx of American dairy and sparking repeated trade disagreements. While these regulations have given Canadian dairy producers a secure market, they've also led to U.S. protectionism claims. NAFTA, established in 1994 following the 1989 agreement, sought to integrate the U.S., Canadian, and Mexican economies. However, it struggled with agricultural trade, mainly because U.S. negotiators persistently pushed for more access to Canada's dairy markets. In recent years, the USMCA, NAFTA's successor, has brought these agricultural debates back to the forefront. The slight opening of the Canadian dairy market was seen as a win for U.S. dairy farmers, though Canadians had mixed reactions. These historical trade agreements highlight a core tension: the U.S.'s desire for market entry versus Canada's protective stance on its dairy industry. As trade relations evolve, these deep-rooted issues remain central to understanding the complex narrative of U.S.-Canada trade. Like many other products, milk is more than just a commodity. It represents national economic goals and cultural identity.
The U.S. and Canada share one of the longest borders globally, a testament to trade and teamwork. Yet only some things crossing this line are welcome. Cocaine, a persistent threat, slips through with alarming regularity. In 2022, U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized over 20,000 pounds of cocaine at the border, source CBP drug seizure stats. This staggering figure underscores a grim reality that tariffs can't quickly solve. Drug trafficking is a societal blight. It fuels addiction, strains healthcare, and erodes community fabric. Cocaine alone accounts for approximately 16,000 overdose deaths each year in America, source National Institute on Drug Abuse. These statistics paint a sad picture of a crisis that needs more than tariffs to tackle. Suggesting Canadian tariffs could stem cocaine flow is at best misguided and at worst politically evasive. Tariffs disrupt legal trade more than the illegal drug market. They might divert attention without addressing the root causes: border security, global partnerships, and domestic demand. So how do we tackle such a deep-rooted problem? Tariffs are broad strokes when we need a scalpel's precision. A mix of international cooperation, public education, and law enforcement adjustments might beat any tariff in breaking drug networks.
Canada's dairy dilemma is tangled in a web of its own making. The country's supply management system is like a fortress, fortified with quotas, taxes, and price controls to keep the domestic market steady. This means producers work under strict output quotas that match local demand, shielding them from the chaos of global markets. The trade-off? Over 200% tariffs on certain imported dairy products. Sure, this keeps foreign competition at bay, but it also limits consumer choices and increases prices. So what does the U.S. dairy industry see in Canada's tightly regulated market? In a word, opportunity. Imagine tapping into a $50 billion annual industry, with American dairy producers eyeing Canada as the perfect place to offload surplus supply. The U.S. has the muscle of more extensive operations and cost efficiencies, making it a formidable contender on the world stage. The numbers are hard to ignore. Lowering or scrapping tariffs could open the floodgates to potential profit. Snagging a slice of the Canadian market could fatten U.S. dairy farmers' wallets by a cool $200 million a year. This isn't merely a spat over trade for the American dairy sector. It's a strategic move to expand its reach and secure its industry in an unpredictable global scene.
What truly sparks Trump's tariff maneuvers? Is it about combating a drug crisis or subtly tipping the market toward American dairy? Politically, Trump's America First stance spotlights American businesses. U.S. dairy producers have long felt the squeeze from Canada's restrictive policies. So could Trump's tactics be a strategic push to open Canada's doors wide to American milk? The economic stakes are high. Bridging the dairy divide could bolster an American industry that's recently experienced downturns. This move could also rally support from rural America, a vital voting bloc. Remember how Wisconsin dairy farmers swung votes in Trump's favor? Then there's crime. Trump's narrative often underscores law and order, with tariffs fitting into an anti-drug storyline. Some critics argue that these tariffs as crime-fighting tools might be a political facade. So, Trump's motives seem layered, a mix of political chess, economic gain, and social statements. The real agenda remains murky, leaving everyone guessing what's behind the white goods brawl.
Tariffs pack a punch in the dairy industry across the U.S. and Canada, hitting pocketbooks hard. American dairy producers now face a 6% rise in production costs due to supply chain hiccups and tariffs, a figure reported by the USDA. The impact: higher milk prices undermine the U.S.'s edge in global markets. Up north, Canadian dairy farmers are feeling the pinch too. According to the Canadian Dairy Commission, steep tariffs block their access to the U.S. markets, leading to a dairy glut at home. Prices have nosedived almost 12%, squeezing farmers out of profits as they grapple with these challenging economics. Tariffs stir up trade tensions, rattling prices and supply systems. U.S. and Canadian dairy producers struggle for essential equipment and feed, often sourced cross-border. This blockage worsens the situation, disrupting the once smooth flow of goods that supported farmers and economies alike.
The trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada are like a dramatic show packed with economic strategies and political moves. On the one hand, the flow of illegal drugs poses serious issues. At the same time, the dairy industry showcases the power of cross-border collaboration. Trump's tariff plans mix drugs and dairy, revealing their complex nature. Are they just politics disguised, or do they aim for true economic impact? This question looms over U.S.-Canada relations, urging us to consider how these strategies shape our economic future. As we navigate these border challenges, what will the future bring? A thriving trade gateway or a hotspot for illegal activity? Future policies will determine the answer, forcing us to examine how they will influence the connections between these two intertwined nations.
Thank you for tuning in to the Bullvine Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's insightful discussion. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Catch you next time on the Bullvine Podcast, where bovine expertise and community come together.